There are wars, political plots and intrigues, challenges to leadership in our governing bodies. People are being persecuted. Assassinations and assassination attempts happen. What this opening sentence is describing isn't the current state of our world, but a description of the state of the world, of the political environment during the Buddha's lifetime, and even the conflicts he experienced within his Sangha. It's easy to think that our world is out of whack, and that the world has always been out of whack in one way or another. And just before getting ready for this sit today, I looked up out of whack. What is that? And it's out of balance, not the way it's supposed to be. And then I thought, well, the world isn't out of whack as much as I tend to think it is. The world just is the way it is. And I don't always see it from the perspective of equanimity. And that isn't to diminish or become indifferent to the pain we experience. That's only to recognize the truth of the first noble truth that the Buddha taught. This is reality. This is the way the world is and has always been. This is what we got. What are we going to do with it? How do we maintain any kind of balance with the suffering that's happening all over our world, along with all the major and minor difficulties in our own life? What our practice keeps reminding us is that we need to continue coming back to our own embodied moment-to-moment experience. And I certainly keep realizing, as Lee described in her talk this week, I can't fix it. I need to realize the reality of my limitations again and again. I'm a slow learner. I need repetition. And as Bill spoke of recently, just keep it simple. Practicing equanimity with being fully present in ordinary activities and moments to build our equanimity muscle, to do what we can manage to do in the moment. Like the story I've told before of the monk Kudapantanka, who couldn't remember any of the gathas, and they were going to kick him out of the Sangha because he couldn't cut it. He couldn't even remember the simplest verse that the Buddha taught. And the Buddha took compassion on him and said, just while you're cleaning up, remember the phrase, sweep away the dirt. And doing that, he became enlightened. So rather than getting entangled and thinking I can or should solve the world's problems or anybody else's problems, or even my own for that matter, what I can do is accept the reality of my limitations and keep it simple. As I sat with this, I realized I can do one thing, one little thing, to bring more peace and open-heartedness in my little corner of the world. And as an aside, that doesn't necessarily mean I won't be engaged with what's going on in the world or taking any actions to help the state of the world, but I'll just start where I'm at. So I can sweep away my inner dirt using the practice of letting go, of renunciation, of what is unhelpful, of what is harmful. And I'd like to share a recent experience with practicing this over the past couple of weeks. And I hope you find pieces of this that you can connect with. So I became curious about what feelings of ill will I've been holding on to toward just one person. And it didn't take me long for someone to come to mind. A person who has been a challenge for me, not because of them, but because of me, towards whom I've been holding on resentment, jealousy, ill will, hard as that is to acknowledge, for 20 plus years. So, sweetheart, or I think that's long enough to be holding on to this. And this person isn't somebody I encounter frequently, maybe a few times a year. And perhaps you have someone like this in your life. Aunt Sadie or Uncle Bill who you see on holidays, or a former colleague, or somebody you went to school with, or a former partner. You know, thumbs up if you can think about somebody like this in your life. All right, I'm not alone here. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm not the only one. Um, and when I think about it, being at a gathering with this person, my heart gets a bit tighter and closed down. I sink into myself, my stomach churns a bit. And I've worked on these difficult feelings off and on over the years, but I know I still harbor them. It feels like Charles Dickens's character Scrooge when he says, it's like an undigested piece of cheese, just kind of there. You know. And I still add to my suffering by holding on to this unhelpful, hurtful feeling that I have still not fully released. In language often used in recovery circles, in many ways, I've been faking it until I make it. And I thought, now is the time to work on making it more than faking it. So I began with loving kindness, compassion phrases, just playing with opening my heart, seeing this person is just like me, and investigating a little deeper from my own conditioned reactions as I explored for those bits of undigested resentment, combined with a willingness to let go. Not sure how I would do this, but just being willing and open to the possibility of release and letting go. And I thought of images, as Bill often relates, of releasing. And since it's fall and the trees in my part of the world are now letting go of their leaves, I thought of that image. The tree doesn't try to cling to the leaves. It isn't angry or resentful of the leaves. They've served their purpose. Now it's time to let them go, let them be carried away by the wind or down the waters of a stream. Or like the clouds that are settling in as fall approaches. The clouds being carried away by the wind, the sky doesn't push the clouds away. It lets them pass through. So just playing around with letting go, letting go. And I noticed the thought pop up. Well, you don't have to be best friends. You can just let go. But then it occurred to me, why not? Why not hold them in my heart just as I would my best friend? This is the practice of equanimity. I could go a step beyond just tolerating this person, as we've talked about here, not just holding them as if they were a dear friend, but holding them as a dear friend. What a radical thought. And as I felt into this, I could feel that undigested resentment beginning to dissolve and melt away. I even found myself beginning to look forward to an opportunity to interact with this person so I could greet them as a dear friend. And as it happened, within about a week of initiating this practice, I was doing a short online presentation for some group in another state. And I had no reason to think that this person would be attending. It didn't even occur to me. But within a minute after my presentation was over, I got an email from this person offering very kind words about how I had done a really good job, going out of their way to email separately, and that's never happened before. I was really surprised and so happy that my practice with letting go had created space within my heart to really be able to accept and feel the kindness and generosity of their words. And I was able to respond with genuine, heartfelt appreciation, not only thanking them for those kind words, but genuinely saying that their words meant a great deal to me. And my heart felt so much warmer and lighter. And I was just grateful that the practice had given me the gift of equanimity in that moment through releasing my unhelpful, difficult, harmful feelings so that I could open wholeheartedly to receiving kindness and genuinely offering back friendliness and gratitude. Now, I don't know if the difficult feelings will come back, but I will continue practicing so that I might notice if and when they do. If I can reduce the suffering in the world by reducing my harmful feelings toward one person, that is something. And as Susan would say, take note and make much of it. And as Bill would say, give it those 12 seconds to let it sink in. And remember that. And to paraphrase Mother Teresa, if I can't do small things with great love, I'm not likely to be able to engage with the larger issues and picture with kindness and equanimity. And I already know the next piece of undigested ill will I'm going to be playing with to expand my circle of friends. So thank you so much